Welcome to Prof. Brainbox YouTube channel. In today's lesson, we shall learn about sorts. What are sorts? But before you can understand the meaning of what sort, there are two types of numbers that you have to understand before you can do what? Understand the meaning of what? So, and these numbers are rational numbers, irrational numbers. So if you don't know the difference between these two numbers, that means you won't be able to understand what sort. So I'm going to pick the first one and explain the same thing applicable to the second one. Let's see. The first one is what rational. This is number one. Then the one, two. Then the rational number. Let's discuss this. What are rational numbers? Rational numbers are those numbers that can be expressed as a ratio of what? Two integers. I take it again. Rational numbers are those numbers that can be expressed as a ratio of what? Two integers. Or you can put it this way. Rational numbers are those numbers that can be expressed in terms of what? Or that can be expressed in the form of fraction. So look at this. The first definition, we say ratio of what? Two integers. Say for instance, we have integer p, we also have integer q. So what is p? If we say ratio of two integers, if we say p over q, automatically this is what? This is a ratio of p to q. So what is going to happen? Remember that q is not equals to what? 0, because if q equals to 0, it means that this fraction is going to be what? Undefined fraction. Undefined fraction is a fraction whereby the denominator of that fraction equals to 0. So in this case, this guy must not equal to 0. So any number that you can express in this form is what we call what? Rational numbers. For example, we have examples. We have this. 2 is a what? Is a rational number, because if I say 2 divided by 1, I'm still going to have 2. So at this point, I have been able to express 2 as a ratio of what? Two integers, which are the 2 and 1, that is a p and q. How about I say 3? The same thing is going to happen, because 3 divided by 1 is going to give me 3. So 2 is what? It's a rational number. 3 is also what? A rational number. So how about this? I have 1 over 2. 1 over 2 here is going to give me what? 0.5. So it means that I can express 0.5 as a ratio of what? Two integers, which are p and q. So it means that your p here is what? 1, your q here is what? Is 2. So how about 3 over 2? This is another example. 3 over 2 is going to give me 1.5. It means that I have been able to find two integers such that when I divide, I have what? 1.5. So in this case, 1 over 2 is what? Is a rational number. How about I say root 4? Square root of 4 is going to give me what? 2. So which means that I can say square root of, which means I can say 2 divided by 1. I can express them, which is going to give me 2. So it means that this square root of 4 is what? Is a rational number. How about this one? I give you this one, square root of 9. If you find the square root of 9, you are going to have what? 3. And I can express this as a ratio of two integers, 3 over 1. I'm still going to have 3. So in this case, it means that this guy is what? Is a rational number. This guy is also a rational number. So those numbers which you can be expressed as a ratio of what? Two integers, is what we call rational numbers. So let's look at the second one. This second one is the opposite of this. Second one is the opposite of this. This is the second one, number 2. We have what? Irrational numbers. So let me take this one. Irrational numbers. Let's see. Irrational numbers are those numbers which you cannot be expressed as a ratio of what? Two integers. They are those numbers which they cannot be expressed in a fractional form. Look at the board. It means that you want to find two integers such that when you divide, you have this number. You won't be able to do it. Take for instance, we have the same thing here, P and Q. Remember that Q is not equal to 0. So take for instance, I ask you to find the root, what? Square root of 2. When you find square root of 2, what are you going to have? Let's see. Root 2 is going to give me 1.4142 13562 and so on. So if I ask you to find two integers such that when you divide, you have this number, exactly this number, you won't be able to do it. So in this case, we now say that root 2 is what? Is a irrational number. So take for instance, I have another one, root 3. What is root 3? You find root 3, we are going to have root 3, that is 1.730508, and so on. So if I ask you to find two numbers such that when you divide these two numbers, you have exactly this number, you won't be able to find those two integers. So in this case, we say that root 3 is what? Is irrational number. So how about this one? Take for instance pi. Let me shock you. We have the value of pi to be what? To be when you take pi, square root of pi, shift pi. Okay, when you take pi, you are going to have 3.141592654. I know that you are going to say that we have 22/2 or 22/7. That 22/7 is going to give us the answer to this. It's wrong. 22/7 is the approximate value for this guy. It is not the exact value. That means if you find the value of pi, when you put this pi in your calculator and find the value, you are going to have this. Okay, let's see. Let's find for this one, we have this. Let's find for 22/7 and see something. I want you to see something. We have here 22/7. Let's see. 22 divided by 7 is going to give us 3.142857143. We can see the difference. Look at the ending. Toward the ending, what is happening? Look at this number. Say the last 3 digits here. Look at our 4 digits here and this one. Are they the same? They are not the same. So it therefore means that pi is irrational number. 22/7 is not the exact value for what? For pi. It is an approximate value for what? For pi. So pi is what? Is an irrational number. So we also look at the example. Other example. We also look at root 5. All this root that is not, or like that is not a perfect square. They are all what? Sort. Root 5. Root what? 6. Because we find the square root of 5, you are going to have a decimal point. And if I ask you to find two integers such that when you divide, you have this number, you won't be able to do it. The same thing with this one. The same thing with cube root of what? If I say cube root of 7, if you find it, you are going to have what? You are going to have decimal point. Then if I ask you to express that decimal point in terms of two integers so that you can have this value back, you won't be able to do that. So in this case, this guy is what we call sort. Cube root of 7 is a sort. So another example is what? Root 8. You find the value of root 8, what are you going to have? Decimal point. So if I ask you to find this, to find two integers such that when you divide, you have this number, you won't be able to do what? You won't be able to have it. You won't be able to do that operation. So in that case, square root of 8 is what? Is irrational numbers. So, but let me tell you something. All perfect square, when you find the root of all perfect square and perfect cube, perfect full roots, perfect field roots, all these, when you find them, they are what? They are rational numbers. Because if you find the cube root of 8, you are going to have what? 2. So it means that cube root of 8 is what? Is a rational number. If you find the cube root of cube root of 125, you are going to have 5, which means that this guy is what? Is a rational number. So it is very simple. I hope you get the interpretation. They are very, very simple. So in our next class, we are going to look at what? Sorts. What are sorts? Now we have learned rational numbers, irrational numbers. So in our next class, we are going to look at what? Sort. What are sorts? You need to ask yourself that question. So don't miss out, because I'm going to take time to explain sort. I'm going to take time to explain how to simplify sort, how to find conjugate of a sort, how to rationalize sort. So please, if this is the first time that you come across my video, please click on the subscribe button so that whenever I drop videos, you'll be seeing it and be learning from it. Please don't forget. Let's go. Bye bye.